All right, here's my final thoughts on Nick, Sierra, and then I'm done because I made too many videos talking about this. But I really think the problem was Sierra did not allow Nick to pursue her. She was throwing herself at him. She was heavily pursuing him, constantly telling him how much she liked him and wanted to be with him and everything else. And as a woman, I hated watching that. I hated seeing a woman throw herself at a man. One, because one, why are you throwing yourself at a man? You're supposed to be the prize, right? And it's very hard to watch that, not because it's wrong that she liked him that much, but it's just like, as a woman, you should want the man to pursue you. I also feel like it's a big reason why Nick honestly probably wasn't that interested. He made it very clear from the beginning he likes the chase. There was no chase with Sierra. Sierra literally made that man her target and locked in on him from the moment she stepped into the villa as a bombshell. And I feel like while it may have been Nick was attracted to her, right? And he might have liked her personality, but I also feel like he didn't have the opportunity as a man to even chase or pursue her, and that's what he really liked. And I feel like with Alandria, all of that was there for him, and this is why he ends up liking Alandria way more. He literally says he was his secret, he was her secret admirer that he was pining for from afar, because Alandria was not giving Nick all of this attention and reassurance that Sierra was. So he knew she was physically attracted, but then it was like immediately shut down and she was with Taylor. It was like he didn't even exist. I feel like that made him want Alandria more. Sierra, I feel like, was being very masculine in the relationship, heavily pursuing him, slept with him very early on. And that's a mistake I honestly feel like too many women make. They think that because a man is having sex with them, that a man likes them. And in reality, men can have sex with a woman and not care about them. Like, we can't, you have to stop equating sleeping with a man as meaning that man is interested in you. A man cannot like you and sleep with you. He just thinks you're attractive. It doesn't mean that Nick and Sierra had a stronger connection just because they were sleeping together. I honestly feel like it was never going to get past that because she brought physical things in way too soon. On the other hand, Alandria, yes, she showed initial attraction to Nick from the beginning, but she never chased that man. She never once told, like, hey, Nick, I'm so attracted to you. I want to be in a relationship with you. She literally barely gave that man any crumbs. Like, yes, she showed a little bit interest, as Nick said. Like, he would catch her look sometimes. They always had really good physical chemistry and challenges, but she was not heavily like throwing herself at Nick or anything like that. She wasn't even throwing herself at Taylor. Well, I would say, like, with Taylor, I feel like she liked the idea of him more than she actually liked him. And I didn't like seeing Alandra do that, and I feel like it was hard for me to root for Nick and Sierra because you didn't feel like Nick was actually fully into it. It was kind of like Sierra was really into it, and then Nick was kind of like, oh, well, this is the best option I have now, because after he slept with her, it was pretty much no other girl was gonna want to come in and get between that. And Sierra was very territorial. This is why I'm saying, like, Sierra was the pursuer in that relationship, and that made it doomed from the beginning, because the man has to like the woman more. I'm so sorry. I don't care what anyone thinks. If the man is not pursuing you, he's not that interested in you. And as a woman, you should want a man to pursue you. Sierra was doing all the pursuing in that relationship, and I feel like that made it abundantly clear to me that she liked him way more. His interest with her was not as deep as she thought it was, and it's just like, it's not going to work out. That's what we need to learn from this. I don't think Sierra is a bad person. Obviously, the racist comments that she said ended up being her own demise. Also, Sierra is not a victim. I'm so tired of people acting like Alandria stole Sierra, Nick from Sierra. Sierra's racist comments got her removed from the show, and then Nick finally had the opportunity to get with Alandria. I'm so sorry, but it's just like I don't feel like Sierra is a victim in this situation. She really liked a man. The man, Nick liked her enough to stay with her in the villa, but I also feel like he never really actually pursued Sierra. It was always Sierra pursuing Nick. And the reason that that was the case is because Sierra pretty much forced herself into Nick. She locked eyes on him, didn't allow him to explore, was territorial, was like, this is my man, my man, my man. Like, she was very heavily on him. And I feel like I said, I honestly can't see it as Nick did something to her. I feel like Sierra forced the relationship with Nick in her head to be better than it actually was, and she low-key played herself. She played herself. Her focus and being so locked in on Nick, not allowing herself to explore other connections or letting a man actually pursue her. Because it would have been different if from the get-go Nick was like pulling Sierra for chats and all of this stuff. I feel like most of what we saw was Sierra heavily pursuing Nick. Maybe Nick sometimes doing things, like, I'm not saying Nick did zero things to like give Sierra reassurance, but she even said herself, I just feel like I like him more than he likes me. And if you as a woman feel that way, that's not your person. If you're questioning that person's interest in you, he's not your person. And it's just like, I understand the people who are defending Sierra, but I also feel like y'all are defending a delusion to begin with, because again, her interest in Nick was always greater than Nick's interest in her. And because she heavily was throwing herself at him and wanted that relationship with him and was doing all of this stuff to make him like her, I feel like she never had she was locked in on the wrong person. So I also feel like, in a sense, I don't feel like Nick led her on. I honestly feel like she led herself on slightly, because she literally only focused on Nick. And that's kind of what Alandria had done with Taylor. However, Taylor also was not forthcoming with him not being physically attracted to her. I don't think Nick ever said like he didn't find Sierra physically attractive. So it's just like the comparison of them, I feel like they're two different situations. Anyways, I feel like everything happened for a reason. I think Sierra, honestly, like I said, she was way too focused on Nick from the moment she walked in the villa. She only had her eyes for him, never really fully allowed herself to explore other people. And because she was so focused, it's like everything Alandria did with Taylor, Sierra did with Nick. Did Nick give Sierra the reassurance? Not really. I honestly feel like he was told her, he was honest about like the limitations. He's like, we're closed off in here, but not in real life. Like, I don't know. If you're questioning if a man likes you, he don't like you. And again, I also kind of feel like, as much as it sucks for Sierra to probably see how strong Nick and Alandria's connection is now, I feel like if anything, it should just show that she was not the right person for him, and he was not the right person for her. The person that is. So one of the hardest lessons you're going to have to learn in life is that sometimes you really like someone and they don't really like you. That is the situation between Sierra and Nick. Sierra really liked Nick. Nick liked Sierra, but he really liked Alandria, and that's all there is to it. Just because he ended up liking Alandria more doesn't mean he did Sierra dirty. Sometimes you like someone more than they like you, and if that's the case, they're not the right person for you, and that's all there is to it. There was nothing shady done to Sierra other than she got removed for her own actions outside the villa.